Interview Documentary.
Hi everyone, I am Novlitha Mangande and my friend Fitria Lihawa. We are 4th semester student of English Education Program from Sintu Maroso Poso University. In this video, we will explain the results of the interviews we have conducted on April 3, 2021 with on the teachers at the 3 Tojo Public Junior High School, namely Miss Fadlia M. Nasser as an English teacher and 5 students who were taught, in which we will explain the rote learning paradigm used by Miss Fadlia, student characteristic, student need, and learning arrangement. This is an instructional design task under the guidance of Miss Novlitha Francisca Tunca. Hopefully this video can be useful for viewers. Background: education is a very important thing to create good and quality education. The learning process must run well to become a chance for a teacher to be able to find ways so that learning process can run well and be accepted and can be understood by students. In the results of interviews that we have conducted at Tri Tojo Public
Explanation
Junior
of
High
interview
School with
results.
an English teacher, it shows that the teacher is carrying out the learning process effectively and efficiently. In this video, we will explain the learning process carried out by the teacher. The purpose of the interview we conduct was to find out the teaching process that occurred at SMP 3 Tojo in English subject in the COVID-19 pandemic situation and before the COVID-19. How to use it, the material source used, what learning paradigm to use, to know the characteristic of student in the class as well as the assessment described by the English teacher to the student. This interview was conducted at the Tojo Public Junior High School on Saturday, April 2021 at 19:30. Will the speaker were Miss Fadlia M. Nasser as an English teacher and 5 ninth grade students from grades A and B. Learning paradigm. The learning paradigm is meaningful as a way of looking at the learning process. One side is seen that students or learners have a very dominant influence of the learning process. This perspective provides opportunities for students to be more active in the learning process. The perspective is known as student-centered learning. This perspective is known as a new paradigm, and from the material about the learning paradigms that are included in now, there are 6 learning paradigms, namely behaviorism, cognitive, constructivism, design-based, humanism, and connectivism or 20th century learning. And the results of interview we got regarding what learning paradigms are used by English teacher in junior high school 3 Tojo Miss Fadlia, namely the cognitive paradigm, because in this theory students learn most effectively through reading, text and lecture instruction. From the results of interview we have conducted with Miss Fadlia, we conclude from her teaching method she provides material and sample question, then explain it. In this case, students are required to read the material that has been described first in the learning process. The material used is only essential or important points regarding the short learning time to COVID-19. Student characteristic. From the article Intelligent Analysis of Student Characteristic written by Ahmad Taufik from STI Bumi Silampari Lubuk Linggau, it was stated that a teacher in the learning planning process needs to understand the characteristic and intellectual abilities of students. Analysis of the intellectual abilities of students is an activity to identify students in terms of needs and characteristics to determine specification and qualification for behavior change or goals and material according to Edwin Superman 2001. Characteristics of students are defined as characteristics of the individual quality of student which generally include academic ability, age and maturity level, motivation towards subject, experience, skill, psychomotor, cooperation ability and ability social. Besides understanding the general characteristic above, there are also special characteristics, so non-conventional ones, includes minority groups, disabilities and level or maturity. This affects the use of language appreciation or recognition, special treatment and strategic methods in the teaching process. There are two characteristics that a teacher must know normally. A. Number of students. Teacher need to know the number of students who will be taught to find out whether teaching small classes or large classes. The teacher understanding of the number of students will affect the teacher's preparation in determining the material methods, media time needed, and evaluation of the learning carried out. To find out the number of students, the teacher can coordinate with the academic department. B. Student background. The teacher understanding of the background of students such as family background, economy, hobby level, and so on also affects the learning system planning process. To obtain data about the background of students, it can be obtained through filling out biodata by student, as well as in the article written by the author on the website gurusuccess.com. It stated that it is important for a teacher to know the background of a student being taught, starting from the background of both parents and students themselves. And in the results of interview we have conducted with language teacher English in the Tojo State Junior High School. Normally, Miss Fadlia stated that the teacher knew the characteristic of the student she was teaching. That is, the number of students is the class dominates woman. The work of the parents of the student is fishermen and farmers. The ethnicity of the student in the class dominate the birth trade, and the average education background of the student parents is junior high school. From this two article and the results of our interview with the English teacher, the teacher is very concrete and the teacher can be said to be very professional not only when teaching but he is able to know the characteristic of the student he teaches.
Student needs in article written by university students. Islam Negeri Sultan Syarif Kasim Riau state that in the education unit level curriculum or KTSP, it is explained that learning English at SMP or MTS is target so that student can reach the functional level, which is to function well in their lives, either talk, oral, or written communication to solve problems daily. Thus, the teacher needs in the process of learning English to determine essential themes that must be mastered by students at the functional level. Muhammad also explained that there are 5 parts in each learning unit, namely A. Structure which includes a certain scope of grammar. B. Vocabulary which include material related to reading. C. Reading which include a topic related to the category of knowledge in order to insert awareness and nationalism concerning problem in national development. The conversation on topics select according to language and situation function. And E. This writing determine a variety of writing activities ranging from writing to language to communication writing. And in this case, we have conduct interview with English teacher at Tojo Public Junior High School regarding the learning needs of students in the 9th grade, and the result is Miss Fitria wants her students to be able to master a lot of vocabulary so that they can make a simple sentence from this result. Having several parts in each learning unit put forward by Muhammad, and also in the KTSP, the desired target is so that students can reach the functional level, which is to function well in life, both talk, oral, and writing communication to solve daily problem. From this target, Miss Fitria wants the result of the lesson she taught to 9th grade students, namely being able to write simple sentences. Learning arrangement, learning settings in article written by Adi which are published by educationalessays.com state there are 10 teaching techniques, namely 1. Lecture technique, 2. Discussion technique, 3. Question and answer technique, 4. Assignment technique, 5. Simulation technique, 6. Inquiry technique, 7. Experiment technique, 8. File trip technique, 9. Tutorial technique, 10. Problem solving technique. And from the result of the interview, we have do it to the English teacher at SMPN 3 Tojo state that when teaching, the teacher delivered the material directly using books or models without using other teaching media, and sometimes the teacher asks question and answer after teaching. The teacher gives assignment. Regarding the teaching technique being carried out, we conclude that the teacher used 3 techniques, namely lecture technique, question and answer technique, and also assignment technique. And for class arrangement during COVID-19, as in the article written by Ali Nurdin state, then an effective way to do learning during a pandemic is by using laptop and cell phone, so that you can learn talk applications such as Google Classroom, WhatsApp, and other APK, but also like what is written by Satudin Samin in Compass.com. Distance learning is a new thing. Not a few teachers and school principals experience confusion organizing learning from home. In the end, what happened, the teacher gave and assignments that simply fill the time, such as summarizing or working on the question in the textbook. However, COVID-19 has at least provided a lesson for educators during this PSBB on how to better strategies in VDR or learning from home to face the new school year. Learning from home, according to the author, can be divided into forms: learning by assignment and learning from distance or online. Both were carried out for the sake of preventing the transmission of COVID-19. Learning with assignment is carried out as a way out of dealing with a number of limitations that teachers, parents, and students have in organizing online learning. Not many teachers are familiar with online learning. Not all parents and students have a communication device or Android or easy access to internet signal. And from the result of interview with English teacher at the first Tojo public school that Miss Fitria did the learning without using the application as previously listed because not all students had cell phones, so the school took the initiative to teach by dividing small group. Then the teacher subject visit the student at home in their respective group so that learning continue. But specifically for grade 9, Miss Fitria usually teacher face to face at school to explain the material and example of national exam question, but they still carry out the health protocol. Teaching the material and teaching material use are very important because they can affect the result of the learning. As stated in the Compasiana, teacher, material, and learning media are anything that is used in the preparation of learning design. There are several types of teaching material such as printed teaching material, visual teaching material, audio teaching material, audio visual, multimedia teaching material, and real object. Most often here as part of teaching material are models. Models are teaching material that are prepared for in the learning process. A learning resource is someone or something that causes the learning process to occur. Nowadays, learning resources are not only teacher but also content on the internet, books, and so on. The source of teaching material is a place where teaching material can be obtained. We can use various sources to get learning material from each competency, standard, and basic competence. These sources are listed below. Textbooks published by various publishers can be selected to be used as a source of teaching materials. Textbooks that are used as a source of teaching material for a type of subject do not have to be only one type, let alone only come from one author or publisher. Use as many textbooks as possible in order to gain broad insight. 2. Research reports. Research reports published by research institutes or by researchers are very useful for obtaining current or up-to-date source of teaching material. 3. Journals. Publishing the result of research and scientific thinking. Periodical publishing containing the result of research or the result of talk is very useful to be used as a source of teaching material. This journal contains various research results and opinions from experts in their respective field that have been reviewed for correctness. 4. Expert in the field of study, expert or experts in important field of study are used as a source of teaching material. The expert can be asked for consultation regarding the correctness of the material or teaching material, scope, depth, sequence, etc. 5. Professional. Professional circle are people who work in certain fields. The banking sector, for example, is of course expert in economic and finance. In this connection, teaching material related to economic and finance can be asked of people who work in banking. 6. Curriculum books. Curricular books are important to use as a source of teaching material because it is based on the curriculum that competency standard. Basic competency and material can be found. It's just the material listed in the curriculum only contain the subject matter. It is the teacher who must translate the main material into the detailed teaching material. 7. Publishing periodically, such as daily, weekly, and monthly. Periodicals such a newspaper contain a lot of information relation to the teaching material of subject. Presentation in a newspaper or weekly using popular language that is easy to understand because it is very good if the publication is used as a source of teaching material. 8. Internet. Teaching material can also be obtained through the internet network. On the internet, we can get all kinds of source of teaching materials. We can even get daily study unit for various subjects via the internet. The material can be printed or copied. 9. Audiovisual media. TV, video, VCD, DVD, audio cassette. Various types of audiovisual media also contain teaching material for various types of subjects. We can study volcanoes, life in the sea, in the wilderness through television broadcasts. 10. Environment. Natural, social, cultural, technical, industrial, and economic. Various environments such as the natural environment, the social environment, the arts and culture, arts, engineering, industry, and the economic environment can be used as a source of teaching material. To study abrasion or sourcing of beaches, type of sand, tidal waves. For example, we can use the natural environment in the form of beach as a source. Regarding the result of interview related to the teaching media and teaching material used by the English teacher, he used teaching material in the form of modules, and the material source were sometimes taken in manuals and also sourced from the internet and also sourced from the internet. And for teaching media, the teacher only used real media because they were learning not using a cell phone, so the explanation is conveyed directly without an application. And if you want to use a projector and other audiovisual tools, these tools are not yet available in 3 Tojo Public Junior High School. The use of teaching material and media was in effect before COVID-19 and until now. From the result of the interview regarding the learning process at SMP 3 Tojo, according to the literature review, we made the basis for, because in very article we get is very concerned with the result of the interview we have conducted on Saturday 3 April.
English study recommendation. After we know the results of the interview at the Tojo Public Junior High School, both the English teacher and the 9th grade student, we recommended that the school be able to prepare teaching media facilities so that the learning process could run better and include the format motivating student learning. Because with the learning media, the learning process will be more interesting, and it is likely that students will not be bored while studying, especially learning English, which mostly make students get bored quickly. And regarding the English teacher, we think the way of teaching is very good, but because there are students who said that the teacher explained it too quickly, so we recommend that the teacher pay more attention to how to explain it or not too fast when delivering the material. That's our video. Thank you. Stay healthy.